One thing that I've learned while scrolling through the list of FNAF fan games is that the cast of said game is all based on whatever the developer wants the cast to be. Whether that be the original Five Nights at Freddy's cast, their own original characters, or maybe just an entirely different series altogether. Which, that last one, very much scares me because I've seen some very interesting games because of this. One of these games being a game called the Tubbyland Archives, which, if you couldn't guess by the title, is a FNAF fan game based on the Teletubbies. The thing is though, when I saw this game, I didn't realize that I was browsing the featured tab, which, if you don't know, is where the most popular fan games reside on Game Jolt. So because of this, I was really curious to find out why this game was so high up on the list while being based on a child's show. But trust me when I say that this game is a lot better than it sounds. And that's what I'm here to tell you about. Today I'll be diving into the Tubbyland Archive Act 1 to answer the question, can a Teletubbies horror game actually be scary? And no, Slender Tubbies is not a scary game. That game is arse. Don't even mention Slender Tubbies to me. So now, let's have a look at the FNAF fan game that was based on the Teletubbies, the Tubbyland Archives. The Tubbyland Archives is a series created by three people: Clicky Code, There's No Steak, and Pigsty. Now, this isn't the first time we've actually seen Teletubbies x FNAF. Created by the same three people was a game called Five Nights at Tubbyland. It was originally a 3-game series which had a 4th game, but it never saw the light of day. There is an unofficial 4th game that the developers of the actual series do shill out, but again, it is unofficial. The Tubbyland Archives, however, plans to reboot the entire series from Five Nights at Tubbyland's 1 to Five Nights at Tubbyland's 3, and even create an official release of the 4th game. Currently, only Act 1 is available, and Act 2 only has a game page up, but I'll definitely be covering these games when they come out, because as you'll see in this video, I genuinely do like this game. So with all that out the way, let's take a look at the first part of the Tubbyland Archives. Skipping past the standard warning signs in every horror game, we get this awesome scene of all the animatronics watching the camera, and when I saw this for the first time, I instantly fell in love with the game. Never have I ever seen a 4-second cinematic at the start of a game that's gotten me so hyped for what I'm about to get into. It already shows all the love that went into the game, and we haven't even gotten into the game yet. Clicking a new week, we get another small cutscene which has the CEO of the Tubbyland Activity Center, an abandoned entertainment venue that plans on reopening sometime soon, explain to us over the phone that we got a job there as a night guard, watching over the establishment to make sure everything stays safe. Yeah, boss, everything looks pretty good. I think she's ready for her first show, actually. And of course, at the end of the cutscene, we realize that we're playing a FNAF game and that the robots at this creepy place are not what they seem. And they're spooky! What? Anyways, after the cutscene, we load into the actual game, and straight up, this has to be one of the best officers I've ever seen in a FNAF game that I've played. Now, I haven't played many fan games, but from the ones that I have played, this is the best looking game out of them all. Standard FNAF tradition, we get a phone call from this game's phone guy, and he is here to explain the basics on how all of our tech works and how to deal with our first threat. On the left side of the screen, there is a camera panel. Opening it up reveals our map and a couple other buttons. The 2 buttons over here control the lights and the power of the camera. The place gets really dark during the night, so you need to light up all the rooms with the light to properly see what's going on. And at first, I didn't actually know what this button was for until I found out that sometimes the cameras will just randomly shut off. So what you need to do is press this lightning bolt icon, and it will take a little bit, but they'll eventually turn back on. Pretty simple. Quick complaint though, as much as it makes opening the cameras quicker and easier, I think I'd prefer it if I could click to close the camera instead of just sliding my mouse over this bar on the side. Because sometimes when I'm trying to use the buttons on the side, say I need to light up a room, I ended up accidentally closing the cameras entirely, which isn't the worst thing ever, but it does give the animatronics a tad bit of unsupervised time to freely move around and get closer to me. Just a small little thing so I'm not accidentally doing the wrong thing all the time. Anyway, you only have to deal with one threat on the first night, and that's Poe, the red Teletubby. I just want to say, I know nothing about the Teletubbies. I had to research a lot about the Teletubbies to actually figure this out, and I did find out some very interesting things. Apparently, the red one and the purple one are dating or something. So, anyway, Poe doesn't have any eyes, so you need to use an audio lure to distract her. You can't audio lure from the other side of the map though, so don't try it. I tried and I learnt the hard way. This night is really easy to deal with though, because you never actually run out of camera power, so you just keep Poe on the other side of the building and watch them the whole night, and if she moves, then just use the audio lure to bring her back. Although the next nights do actually add some more challenges, so we'll get into that now. On night 2, you have 2 animatronics to worry about, Lala and Nunu. These are some like poppy playtime names. Lala starts on the stage and can go either way to get to your office. Lala doesn't get affected by the audio lure like Poe does, so instead you have to hide when she gets to you. Hiding at the right time though greets you to this beauty of an animation. And to say that this scared me when I first saw it would be the biggest understatement ever. It's such a chilling moment watching this monstrosity break into your room and you're just sitting inches away from it. It's a great animation and a tense moment, and I love everything about it. Now, don't just think you can hide all game though. Nunu resides in the hiding spot. Nunu is a vacuum cleaner, by the way. And if you stay there for too long, Nunu ends up just game ending you. It's not the hardest thing to get around, but it just means that you shouldn't be in the hiding spot when you aren't supposed to be there. And that's all that you get told on this night. But the game decides to pull a little prank, you know, a tiny little troll. We do a little bit of trolling. At around 4 AM, the game secretly activates a third Teletubby named Tinky Winky, which is the purple one. The only reason I knew this was because I checked the camera that Tinky Winky usually sits on and he was just not there. Luckily though, I didn't end up running into him on the night until the night afterwards, where the phone guy tells me that halfway through last night they decided to turn the purple one on. Wow, man. Thanks for the heads up. Tinky Winky is pretty easy to deal with though, because unlike the others, he actually has a sound cue when you're on the same camera as him. If you hear him, all you have to do is shine your flashlight until he moves back to the previous camera he was on. The phone guy also lets us know that he has some suspicions about this place, and says that later tonight he's going to do some snooping around in the CEO's files to see if he can find anything devious. What do you know, on night 4 he reports back, and he did indeed find some juicy details. But we don't actually know what was in the files, because as he's about to tell us, the CEO walks in on him and asks if he's been doing some snooping. Mr. Bossman then tells the phone guy to meet him later tonight for something important, but I don't think you need to be a super detective to figure out that this isn't work related and it's just a ruse to probably kill the man. Before the phone guy leaves though, he quickly tells you that he couldn't review how the green Teletubby behaved. So he just says that probably hide if you see him, because he's only got one eye, so his vision's probably terrible. Now, I understand that he didn't have enough time to actually tell us how to deal with the threat, but I still feel like there should be some way that the game tells us that he's gonna appear at the door. Because up until this night, I had adapted to a playstyle where the only time I needed to put the camera down was when Lala was coming into the office. Because there's no power system, and the main way of dealing with everyone is mainly on the cameras, I decided that there was no use in putting the camera down besides when I needed to hide. This could also be seen as a good thing though, because it changes the playstyle up and instead turns your eye away from the other animatronics to make sure that Dipsy isn't at the door. But I still think that either way there should have been some better indication that he's going to be at the door, and that's how you have to deal with him. Night 5 doesn't actually add any new gameplay mechanic, and instead just makes everyone else a lot more aggressive. But we do get a phone call from the phone guy, and instead of summing it down for you, I'm just going to play the full clip, because to be honest, I really like this phone call.
You have one new message.
I like paper clips.
Hello? Thank God this
I like
is
paper
working.
clips.
I have so much to say. Okay, look, I'm hiding right now. Remember how that guy told me to come in yesterday? Yeah, well, guess what? It was a goddamn death trap. I found a room to the right of the party hall. There's something down there. A box. I couldn't get a look inside, but it smelled awful. The robots were down there too for some reason. I don't know why or how, but as soon as they realized I was there, they immediately
and that's all that you're left with. Honestly, I really liked the performance from the phone guy tonight. You don't see anything happening on the call, but it's such a tense moment and it really hooks you in. Anyways, after you beat the night, you decide that you're eventually going to go back to the place for one final night to grab the files that your co-worker couldn't grab and leave. On night 6, nothing special really happens besides this scripted segment where halfway through the night, your power cuts out in the office, and also the AI is very, very difficult. And I'll get to that in a bit. After the night ends, you get a mini game where you need to collect the files and escape the building. Doing so will complete the game. That is one thing that I didn't mention, is that after each night there is a mini game that plays. They don't really add anything, but unlike a Jolly, I actually prefer these mini games being here because they aren't just walking from point A to point B. It's a game of hide and seek where you have to find Nunu. 2, because this game gets really stressful at times and I genuinely need the break from things. Which leads me into probably my biggest complaint for the game, and that's that this game is very difficult, and I cannot stress that enough. In my Jolly video, I talked about how when I'm playing a horror game, I expect to be playing a horror game and not having a rage fest.
Fucking little fat squeaker little
And I'll say it again for Tubbyland. I like that the game is constantly making me do something. The AI moves so frequently that it's too hard to keep up with all of them. And especially on night 5 and 6, I got jump scared so much to the point that instead of getting scared, I was complaining about anything that I could possibly complain about. Like how a Fortnite kid blames every death on a hacker.
Stream sniping.
Again, I know some FNAF veterans would probably be eating this stuff up and loving it, but for casual players like me that just want to have a nice scary experience, it ends up feeling a lot more like playing Getting Over It. And if you've played Getting Over It, you know that that game is a shit show. Now, if I were to put this game on the JdnScale, I would honestly have to give this game a 9. And the only reason it doesn't get a 10 is because of its incredibly difficult final 2 nights. Other than that though, the game is great in all ways that I can think of. The graphics and animation qualities are top tier. The story is solid for being based off of the Teletubbies. The gameplay mechanics are amazing, the mini games are fun, and of course, the main question, can a Teletubbies game be scary? And I can indeed confirm this game tops the spook chart. I highly recommend checking out this game for yourself because it really is a good game and the developers have clearly taken lots of care for this game. There's also stuff that I missed. There's a whole custom mode and a secret night that you can only get by collecting a bunch of papers and heading into a secret room. I don't want to do that, but you can if you try out this game. Link in the description. This is not sponsored, but I just really want to shell out this game. All I can think of to make this game just a little better is the AI should be a little less aggressive and we would be set. I honestly cannot wait for the second and other acts to come out of this game. And you already know that the second they come out, I'll be writing the script, I'll be playing the game, I'll be reviewing the flippity-dippity heck out of that. If you made it this far, then I just want to say thank you for watching. If you found this video entertaining, please consider subscribing and liking. I'm actually trying to make it to 1 million subscribers by tomorrow, so if we could hit that, that would be great. Thanks. No, but for real, any support helps the channel out, whether it's just watching it, you're liking, you're subscribing, even commenting it. It just supports me and I'm so grateful. You can check out the Jolly video here if you want to see how well that game aged. Also, thank you for 160 views on the Jolly video in less than 2 weeks. It really means a lot to me, especially seeing as that was my second video. Thank you for watching this one. Have a good day. Bye bye.